Do you think it's okay for us to consider ourselves 50 and fabulous or 60 and sexy, even if we're not perfect or if we're not aging the way that maybe we thought we should?
Oh, absolutely. The reason I wrote my new book, Naomi's Guide to Aging Gratefully, and then the subtitle is The Facts, the Myths, and the Good News for Boomers, is to give everybody permission. Sometimes we need somebody who's already been there to say, okay, this is what I figured out, the direct path of experience. This is what I know to be true. This is what I would bet my life on. And that is that you are fine just the way you are. And I think, well, I hope that people know this about me, that I just use whatever the heck I'm going through to, I'm a storyteller, and I'll tell you my story and say, okay, this is what it's like for me, been in this, I say the insanity of vanity profession of showbiz.
Right.
And I get really disgusted and frustrated at the media's obsession with these perfectly sculpted and cosmetically enhanced visions of implausible perfection. Because
yeah,
then
I agree with you.
They're just trying to get us to buy their stuff. It's all a racket. I'm serious. It's the ad companies trying to make us feel inferior so that we'll dig deep in our pockets.
Is there a general consensus about sex after 50, or is it completely individual?
Well, it's very varied. When I interviewed hundreds of women across the country about their sex and living the passionate life after 50, I had to divide them into different categories. There were the passionates, who were the largest group, I was happy to see, who were half married, half divorced, and who were having quite passionate lives, romantic lives and sex lives. But the main thing was that they had a passion of their own, that they pursued either a new dream or a new career or business of their own, or a spiritual quest. And that was what made them alive, made them vibrant, made them attractive, and it seemed to really be what attracted people to them sexually, whether they were married or divorced.
So what about the other 50% who weren't quite so passionate?
Well, there were about 20% who were seekers, who wanted what the passionates had, but they didn't they usually didn't have a passion of their own, and they were still kind of nursing grudges from previous relationship or disappointment, and so that was really getting in their way. And then there were the WMDs, the women married, damn it, who almost universally complained about lack of emotional connection and sexual, a sexually moribund relationship. And it was very interesting how many of the women complained about that.
It's Your Call with Lynn Doyle presents 50 and Fabulous Men.
What words of advice would you give to someone, regardless of whether they're 40, 50, 60, how do they make the most of their lives?
Stay active, take action on your passion. Be passionate about life. You have hobbies, go after them. If you have business interests, go after them. If you have the special person in life, go after them. And that's it. Enjoy life. Look every day as an exciting adventure and enjoy it.
I loved the character I played in Bound, the Wachowski brothers' first movie. And I really loved Some Idiot, the character I played in The Amateurs. The Amateurs is a movie I did with Jeff Bridges. And a bunch of great actors, Ted Danson, that's out on video now. That's a comedy about a bunch of middle-aged guys in their 50s and fabulous, that have never amounted to anything, so they decide to make the first adult feature-length amateur porno movie, and everything goes wrong. That's a hysterical movie. Highly recommend it.
I just have this image in my head. I'm sorry. I'm going to go back to the telephone lines before I get myself in trouble.
There's a scene where three black guys ravage, we're making our porno in Isaiah Washington, and they're going to ravage the Frosty Freeze girl, and when they disrobe, they have all three of them have small penises. so we can't make the scene because we assumed they'd have big ones. It's a hysterical movie.
If you say so.
What do I get for penis? These guys are offering me money to cuss. New boss, you hearing that?
Oh, let's get back to the telephone lines where Albie has been waiting very patiently. Hey, Albie, how are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Now, Albie, do you have an Albie normal brain?
That's right, I do.
I have an Albie normal brain. What's your brain style?
Well, I don't know.
Is there a question anywhere on our future,
there is
Albie? Or
question.
we're just all going to sit here and giggle.
Bound. It was a great film and a great role. I didn't think of that one before when you were talking. But I do want to ask you, do you see your recovery from the drugs and alcohol as separate from your recovery from mental illness?
No. It was mental illness that was how I was able to recover from drugs and alcohol. I'm mentally ill and I'm an alcoholic. Mm-hmm. And so I use the 12 steps for both. I am powerless over my own brain disease, and I am powerless over alcohol, which is a chemical solution to an emotional problem, because it's the alcohol that creates sugar that then creates carbohydrates that then produces dopamine that makes the pleasure zone in my brain feel good. So then now I don't drink, so now I got to worry about shopping. So now I have a shopping addiction.
Very appropriate to you and your show. You walk the walk with a hitch in your gait. Your punctuality's just a little bit late. You talk the talk, you keep slurring your words. You remember things you never heard. When you're 50, when you're 50, I'm 50 years old. I'm 50 years old. I'm old. You ain't broke and you're just permanently bent. You're loud and you're wrong and you're confident when you're 50. When you're 50 years old. Yeah, and it goes.